This show is a part of the Quite the Thing Media Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of season 2 of the Gamers Watch podcast featuring Wandering Dutch. I'm not feeling very well today. I'm a poorly little boy, and so Shaun is going to do a lot of the heavy lifting, and you'll be happy to know that I won't be talking very much. Obviously with us today is Dutch. So hello Dutch.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. My internet's working and I'm not. So yeah, it's going well. It's going really well. And as always, I'm joined by Shaun.
Hey.
Shaun, you were on the Midweek Mix-Up podcast a few weeks ago, weren't you?
I was, yes, for the Xbox and Bethesda E3 showcase.
Do you want to talk through that a little bit while I just recover? Because that was a lot of talking.
Get some water down you.
Yeah, keep myself hydrated.
See, it was a live stream for the Xbox and Bethesda showcase, and I don't think I could have picked a better time to come on your show, Dutch, because what a showcase that was.
Yeah, you literally couldn't have picked a better time. I think the reactions from everybody throughout that showcase was kind of spoke for itself. It was such a happy, hyper time as well, and everybody was just hollering and shouting and laughing, and there was no upset faces. Let's put it that way. It was a really good episode.
No, I still remember the Sea of Thieves Pirates Life one, where you could see everyone's face like slowly figure out that it was Pirates of the Caribbean.
Collectively, yeah. No, it was absolutely awesome. I was going to say it was I think it was you at first. You kind of noticed something, and then I said, "Yeah, I'm sure that Caribbean wife sounds very familiar." And then
yeah, I think Darge said something about it first, and then I noticed the like pile of gold from the first film.
Yeah,
and then everyone at the same time sort of obviously saw the dog with the keys in its mouth and was just in stunned silence.
Now, we're actually recording this episode the day that, well, the Sea of Thieves Pirates of the Caribbean crossover has launched. Now, I've not had a chance to play it, but Dutch, I hear that you've been playing it today.
Yes, I've had a little bit of time with it, and it's certainly special. I'm going to jump into it a little bit more with a crew. I didn't really want to dive into the story too much because it is thankfully on the main menu as a separate little thing. So you can either go into adventure like you normally do in Sea of Thieves, or you can jump into that specific thing. So you're not going PvE with everybody else whilst also trying to follow the story, which I think is really special. Specifically because of how much work they've put in with this particular expansion and getting kind of...
I mean, somebody said to me it's not so much an expansion, just a brand new game.
Following on from if you caught the Sea of Thieves kind of showcase, which they did on Sunday.
Yes, I did.
You will have seen kind of what they'd actually done to get a lot of the references from it as well, and they've incorporated the Pirates of the Caribbean ride from Walt Disney World very heavily into the game itself, as well as just the movies. And if you'd ever been on that ride, and I've been on it many times myself, seeing that in game is strange. It's a good strange, but it's really weird to see everything kind of brought to life in Ray's art style. Yeah,
I can't wait to play it, and I'm sure, Shaun, you feel the same way.
Oh, I imagine, because obviously being a big Disney fan like Dutch, I'm going to at least spend about half an hour in the area they showed in the showcase where it's got the talking skull at the end of the ride, and it's just playing his lines on a loop. I'm going to stand there for quite a while, I imagine, doing literally nothing but listening to him saying, "Dead men tell no tales."
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. And one of the things that I love the most about the E3 showcase that you guys did was one surprise of so many that nobody really expected. So the Plague Tale Requiem, when that came out, nobody was expecting that. Obviously Top Gun in Flight Simulator, me and you Dutch have talked a little bit about what Flight Simulator means to us personally, and then to see one of my favourite films, Top Gun, in that was like incredible. Obviously you've got Starfield coming exclusive. If people wanted to check out more stuff, Dutch, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Actually, Twitter is one of the easiest ways to kind of talk to me and speak to us, DM me, or talk any kind of gaming things primarily.
It's literally how we started talking.
Yeah, it is indeed. And I mean, not sorry for the influx of new followers that you gained.
Yeah, apologise to Shaun's wrist immediately.
Yeah, sorry, Shaun's wrist. But yeah,
That's right.
That's because he's got a smartwatch, not because he was wanking off or anything.
I was going to say, that sounds very ambiguous.
Yeah, there is a box of tissues by the side, but it's because he's got a runny nose. It's okay.
Oh god.
So yeah, Twitter's the easiest way to find it.
Yeah, Twitter's the easiest. On there, you'll be able to find, of course, just where I normally kind of talk about the news and things on a day-to-day basis, or post photos of any of the custom kind of consoles and controllers that I do. That's of course one part of the channel that is about, and how my Twitter kind of came to be in the first place was custom controllers and design work. Secondly, of course, then you have the YouTube channel, Wandering Dutch, which is the home of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, where, again, that's where the showcase took place and where Shaun joined us. And we do have a lot of different content on that. We've got, of course, our other panel members that don't have their own channels, submitting content such as Pat, with PUBG stuff a lot of the time, or unboxings. You have myself, of course, who does unboxings, gameplay, and or then hosts the podcast every Wednesday. And again, occasionally get developer interviews on there as well. So anywhere ranging from Ubisoft to Microsoft, whether that be the lead hardware engineers or program managers or anything in between, all the way down to indie developers such as Joe from Song of Iron, and Thomas Salah from The Falconeer, who have also been on as well.
He is such a great dude, isn't he?
He's awesome. Absolutely awesome. He's such a funny guy as well.
I love Thomas. Yeah, really, really great guy. We did a Q&A with him when we just started our podcast, and just his enthusiasm for his game, The Falconeer, was just infectious. It was so great speaking to him. So yeah, anyone who is listening to this now, if you don't already follow Dutch, throw him a follow on Twitter. Go and subscribe to his channel on YouTube. You will not regret it. It's one of the reasons that we've brought Dutch onto our show, is because we're passionate about the work that he does as well, and he does some great content. So definitely go and check him out, and check out all the other guys from the Midweek Mix-Up as well. You will not be disappointed.
Thanks for that.
So, Shaun,
Yes.
shall we move on to the news?
I think we should, yeah. The news.
Oh shit, no, buy our merch. I forgot again.
Every week we forget this.
Shit, I forgot, yeah. So, I've got it written here. Share this podcast with your friends, follow us on social media, and buy our bloody merch. Do all three of those things. And we also have sold a second shirt, and it isn't to me.
Ooh.
So, Shaun, Xbox news.
Yes.
Brought to you by GamePassCounter.com. And Shaun, there's a couple of games that have joined Game Pass this week, aren't there?
There is, yeah. There's one that is out today as we're recording, and then one out in 2 days.
Gleaming reviews so far.
I can't believe it. I was looking forward to trying this game, and then when we came on to record, you told me about how it had been absolutely panned. So you've killed my enthusiasm.
One of the reviews I read today said, "Do not ever play this game." So, with that in mind, what's the first game that's joining Game Pass, Shaun?
Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, and I'm still going to play it.
Yeah, I'm still going to play it
Same.
as well. Why not? Release now, patch later. That's what they say, isn't it?
That's how it goes.
And it's the beauty of Game Pass. Let's not forget that we've paid a subscription fee, not for one game, but for anything that goes in there. So we're not losing anything by playing it.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? If they do fix the AI in the next couple of days, that's basically the biggest issue that people have with the game, is the AI. So it shouldn't take too long just to slap a quick hot fix on there, get it sorted out, and then it'll be a pretty competent game. So yeah, I'm definitely still looking forward to playing it. If you're not aware, I think it's a spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, I think. It's made by the same developers, and I'm a big Baldur's Gate fan, so we'll be checking that one out. Shaun, what's the second game that's coming out?
The second game is actually one of my favourite games of the 360 era, and that is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster, which is because it's coming to the EA Vault, so obviously
and it's
going to Game Pass.
Very similar to Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, where it's a third-person action RPG, isn't it, Shaun?
Kind of, I guess, but with wheels instead of walks.
It's a brum brum racy race. So yeah, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remaster. There's nothing really we need to say. I wrote a blurb in the Discord. It's a racing game. It's Need for Speed. It's one of their better ones. Go and play it.
Especially if you haven't played it before.
Yes, especially if. So yeah, go play it. It's great. Shaun, a little bit more Game Pass news. Square Enix? How do you say it?
I say Square Enix.
I also say Square Enix.
Yeah, I say Square Enix. I saw someone someone post about it. So yeah, it's 3 against 6.5 billion. So yeah, Square Enix. Square Enix believe the decision to make Outriders available on Game Pass on the day of its release has paid off in terms of player acquisition. Obviously, they can't say the numbers of downloads or buyers because of the NDA that they sign when they go onto Game Pass. However, what they've basically said is in regards to the response to Outriders, while there were a few slight issues, which is an understatement, with bugs and stuff on launch, they believe it's gotten off to a much better start for a new IP than they expected. So they are very happy with the decision to launch their game on Game Pass. So hopefully in the future that means that more Enix titles will come to the service day and date, which is something we can all hope for.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, they're not the first developer to say that either. Of course, Sega notoriously.
No, Sega really, yeah.
And the one that actually stuck out for them wasn't believe it or not, the Yakuza franchise. It was a smaller title called 2 Point Hospital, which amassed 3 million players on Game Pass.
Yeah, that absolutely blew up to the point where they've announced 2 Point Campus, haven't they now, off the back of the success that 2 Point Hospital's had. So, and it ties in really well with the third bit of news that we're going to talk about, which is Japan is currently Xbox's fastest growing market. I think that's huge.
It is, and it's very noticeable.
I mean,
it's noticeable. I mean, I've noticed, and this is obviously I've been doing podcasting specifically for the last year now, but even the latter part of the generation and earlier on in the generation, there was absolutely no feedback on Twitter specifically, and of course that's a very small part of the market where people can talk about video games.
Yeah.
But there was absolutely nothing on there from any Japanese kind of gamers talking about Xbox. And now when I go onto Twitter,
not at all.
It is literally every day there's 2, 3, 4 Japanese posts saying they've picked up a Series X or a Series S or talking about Game Pass. And every time any of them mention it, they're talking about Game Pass. It's not like it's hand in hand, specifically Game Pass and Xbox.
Yeah, and I definitely see more people in Japan picking up the S.
Yeah.
I see a huge amount of people.
You know what I've seen as well, because I use the translator. Let's face it, I can't read Japanese as much as I'd love to. Every time they mention picking up the S, it's because the X isn't available, and every one of them says as soon as the X is available, we'll get the X.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Sony have obviously tapped the market for Japan for a long, long time. And I think Microsoft have realised that that market is definitely there to be not taken, but shared. And so with the acquisition of games like Yakuza onto Game Pass, with a lot of the Final Fantasy games on there as well, and now Square Enix, pushing their games onto Game Pass, and on top of that, there are Nier Automata was on Game Pass as well. It's a really great place for Japanese gamers to play titles that they know and love. So it's great to see.
Yeah, it is. It's 100%.
Really, really great to see.
And one of the other things as well is even if you exclude Game Pass, the amount of support that Xbox are trying to get from Japanese developers as it is, of course, they've got a marketing deal with Scarlet Nexus, which is if you haven't played the demo, if you haven't played the demo, I'd definitely recommend trying it out because it is actually it's quirky. It's most definitely a Japanese title, put it that way, the way kind of everything interacts and how they go about the story and things. But it's certainly a very good title, and if you have a look at some of the posts kind of over the Japanese kind of marketing over there for Xbox, Scarlet Nexus is the key title they've got beside the Xbox for marketing.
Yeah. And they closed the extended showcase with Scarlet Nexus. That says it all, doesn't it? That they're catering towards a Japanese market that they know is growing. So yeah, it's nothing but good. Jeremy Hinton, who is the head of Xbox Asia, said that Japan is our fastest growing market worldwide. They've seen phenomenal growth within the last 12 months in Japan. And that's new people coming onto the system, signing up to Game Pass and buying accessories or games on the PC. There was another quote I saw where it said that there's a lot of people who are Xbox Live members on 360 that didn't buy an Xbox One that are now buying Series S's. So there's a big shift in the Japanese market towards the Series S, and it is amazing to see.
Yeah, I actually seen a direct quote. I was going to say I actually seen a direct quote from one of those people buying them that hadn't been on since the 360 on Twitter.
Yeah.
Specifically mentioning this is the first time I've had an Xbox since 360.
Yeah, and I think that shows really good forward planning from Microsoft in bringing the S to the market, because I'm not going to lie, when it was first announced, I did not see a place for it. I thought it was a strange decision to make, and I thought they would be better off with a Series X, but a digital version. But actually, you know what? For less than £300, you can get a next-gen console with a year's worth of Game Pass, and yeah, that's going to be huge. I think around Christmas, if they do Master Chief Collection Xbox Series S's with a year's Game Pass, that's going to kick off big time. And yeah,
I think I actually probably use my Series S more than my X at the moment, to be honest, because I've got the X in the sitting room and then the S in the bedroom, but I've just in the past few days bought a spare cable and HDMI cable and all that to have the S in the office as well. So like if I'm working through a day on something or typing up about a particular game, I can have it running on my second monitor. And because the S is so light and small, it's not
it is
difficult
very
at
small.
all to yeah, it's not difficult at all to move it from room to room. So I think I probably do play the Series S more than the X at the moment. But then in the evenings still use the X obviously for chilling while gaming.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great decision from them that is going to pay off massively and already is paying off. So yeah, great to see. And anytime I see a Japanese gamer on Twitter, I can't understand Japanese, I always like their post, always. Yeah. It's great to see more people getting involved in the Xbox community, which sort of leads us on quite nicely to our community day that we do every other Sunday, doesn't it, Shaun?
Simply because the word community was used.
Yeah, exactly. So community, gaming, community day, it just works. So we host a community day every other Sunday. We go through Twidiots, we go through our wildcard, and then we ask a community topic. We do have a little announcement to make about Twidiots, don't we, Shaun?
We do indeed, yep. It lasted...
He can't be beaten, can he?
It lasted all of, 6 weeks?
Yeah, he can't be beaten.
He's undefeated.
We have to just stop Twidiots because
if a publisher can't beat him, then no one will.
A publisher who sent people our way who gave us death threats can't beat him lying about Forza Horizon, then nobody's going to beat him. So we have to bring Twidiots to an end. And I know that that's going to disappoint our 7 people that listen every week, but we will have to end Twidiots and announce that the crap gamer is just the biggest Twidiot.
The undisputed Twidiot.
The undisputed Twidiot. There's nothing that we could throw against him that will beat him. We thought that this was the chance to dethrone him, but no, he wins again, and he wins the final round, and that's just it now.
I was going to do like a fatal 4-way or like a handicap match for the next community day to see if I could dethrone him, but I don't think that would have worked either.
No.
Steel cage match.
Yeah, honestly, I think at this point we could have Joseph Fritzl against the crap gamer and it would still be a close tie.
Oh my god.
So, we have to call it a day. It didn't last very long, but nobody can beat this idiot for some reason. So, yeah, that is the end of it.
It was good while it lasted.
So, well done, crap gamer. Yeah, well done, crap. You've ruined our show. I hope you're proud of yourself. Cheers, mate. Got to think of more fucking content now, haven't we? Prick.
Oh, all the effort.
Yeah, all the effort, all the posts that you did, Shaun, all that media that you made, all those templates. For what? For that idiot to just keep winning.
Rejiggle my templates now.
Yeah, so we'll think of a new community day question. If you've got any ideas, anyone out there listening to this, if you've got any ideas of the missing segment that we need to bring to our show, just let us know, and we'll tell you no, and we'll come up with our own idea, because that's usually what we do, isn't it, Shaun?
Yeah, we could. I mean, we could do something. So like it's different each community day related to whatever game we're playing that time. So like, for example, if we're doing 2 Point Hospital, we do a segment called like 2 Point Shaun, and you have to guess which diagnosis is an actual thing that's happened to me and which one's completely made up, because the stuff that's actually happened to me sounds made up.
I mean, I really like that idea, so we might just go with that anyway.
Let's just go for it.
Can I also play 2 Point Hospital then in that case?
Yeah, we'll have to fudge the vote again, mate. Don't worry. I'm Narita boy. So, speaking of the wild card, and I'm really sorry if everybody is listening to this hearing me croaking along. Shaun, you take this next bit. You go with it, because the people are probably sick of me.
Is this the community day wild card?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, so as usual, me and Harry picked 2 games each. Although one of mine technically isn't just a game in itself, it's like the expansion. And then we put it up to a vote to see which one we get the joy of playing next. What was your 2, Harry? Yours was Descenders. And Yakuza Like a Dragon.
I picked Yakuza.
Despite the fact that every Yakuza game you've played for about 30 minutes and then gone on a rant on Twitter about how it's terrible.
Yeah, but to be fair, I've only played one, and I played it twice, and it was terrible.
Oh, okay. I thought you played 2 separate ones.
No, I played Yakuza 0 twice, and I hated it more the second time than I did the first. Now, the reason that I picked Descenders, Sean, is because Descenders has just had a Series SX update. I didn't pick it just because I want to play it. I picked it because it's literally just been updated. Well, get your facts right.
You picked it 2 community days in a row, so I just thought you really wanted to play it.
No, they just updated it to 120, even though my TV doesn't run at 120. They just updated it, so it got a 4K 120 update.
Ah, fair enough.
So that's why I picked it.
All right. And then my 2 picks, one of them dodged a bullet, not going to lie now. It was a Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
Yes.
And then the other one was the Sea of Thieves A Pirate's Life expansion, just because I wanted an excuse to play it.
I'm really gutted that didn't get picked.
Yep, that's what I was gunning for. But no, your Yakuza got picked. So now you have to play Yakuza again.
I was going to say, you'll probably be a little bit happier with this one. Granted, if you find the opening segments a little bit slow to the grind with movie-wise, if you like...
My main thing that I'm happy about, it's got an English dub.
It does, actually. It's far more entertaining than previous Yakuzas, in my opinion.
Yes.
Also, I like JRPGs, and it is a turn-based JRPG. It's not like a beat-em-up.
Yes.
So it's a lot better than the previous Yakuza titles.
It's basically answered all of my issues that I had with Yakuza 0. It's no longer a button-mashing brawler, and it's got an English dub. So genuinely actually looking quite forward to this one.
And I've never played a Yakuza game because Harry kept trying to get me to play it after he played it the first time. And I just refused. And
did something about my review put you off?
Possibly, but it was just how we had all these other games. You were like, "You're going to play Yakuza now?" I was like, "Well, we'll pick it as my game next time, and I'll play it." And then you never did, so I never played it.
No, well, let's play Like a Dragon.
Yeah, together.
Yay!
If you have to play more than 30 minutes, though, even if you don't like it.
It's impossible not to. The first 30
I'll
minutes are like a cutscene, so...
All right, well, I'll skip all the cutscenes.
Are they skippable?
And then I'll play
It's to be fair, this one's actually quite a really good story. Like, the first couple of Yakuzas they weren't that entertaining, but this one's actually, it's quite interesting. You'd probably enjoy watching it.
I mean, from what I've seen of it, it looks really, really fun. So I'm going into it wanting to have fun, expecting to have fun. I think I'll have a good time, Sean. Don't worry.
I always worry when we have to play a game and you have to give your opinion.
I'm going to message you at like 9 o'clock tomorrow, like, fucking Yakuza.
Uninstalled it.
How many times? 5. So, oh man, I'm dying here, Sean. So, moving on from the wildcard pick, Sean, we had a new community topic, and it was sort of about you being on the midweek mix-up. What was the community topic this week, Sean?
It was, what was your E3 standout? Because this is the first full recording I believe we've done since E3.
Yes, it is, apart from the E3 bonus episode that we did, Sean.
Yeah, but that was a bit too soon to ask everyone what their E3 standout was, because E3 was still technically going on.
Yes. So, should we go through the answers?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
I just read you've written bleep.
So, which is bleeped, and Jordan both say Forza Horizon 5. Scarlet Function said Halo Infinite was his big pick. Ryan, actually, who is a game donator, that's what I'm going to know him as from now on, said that Starfield being exclusive, but is it really? Because Metro say it's not. They say it's still coming to PS5.
Apparently so is Elder
knows?
Scrolls, so...
Yeah, I know. How many times do we have to tell you, old man? Keegan Bork picks The Plague Tale Requiem, and AJC146 said Elden Ring, and what made me laugh is that he said Elden Ring, and then directly under that someone tweeted him saying, actually, Elden Ring technically wasn't E3, and that absolutely killed me when I read that. It was fucking E3, Summer Game Fest, whatever.
Hey, Summer Game Fest
it was
isn't
around
a thing.
E3.
I'm gonna go with Jez Corden on that one. Summer Game Fest is not a thing.
No, it's not. It's E3 for people who think they're too cool for E3.
It's Jeff Keighley doing some. It's basically Jeff Keighley doing what I do and doing a reaction to something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. He unboxed E3. So yeah, there were some good picks there. Obviously, we discussed our picks in the E3 special that we did. We also talked through your pick, Dutch as well when you were coming on the show, but then my Sky broadband fucked up and we couldn't do the show properly. And yet, to be honest, everyone that we asked, I know that we're an Xbox show, the majority of the people that we asked all had something from the Xbox Bethesda showcase. And I think that speaks volumes of, firstly, how great the Xbox Bethesda show was, and secondly, how mediocre the rest of it was. Because, like, I usually would hear buzz around other people, and for this year, really, all I heard was, it was good, but it wasn't quite as good as Xbox. So, yeah.
Mario and Rabbids Battle Kingdom 2 looked amazing, I'll have you know.
We've spoke about this, Shaun.
I'm caressing my Rabbids soft doll at night.
Yeah, we can't talk bad about Rabbids because Shaun for some reason really likes those
I
games,
don't know why I
so-
really like them as well, because every other sort of characters
They're
like that,
shit.
like characters like that, like minions and that, I can't stand. But Rabbids for some reason I find hilarious.
But they're not. They're just minions with ears. They're not.
They're white minions, not yellow.
It's the worst.
It's
So
best.
yeah, we got some really good answers from our community as always. Do check out our next community day, which will be, oh god, I shouldn't have said that. Should not have said that.
You got to get your calendar out now. I will do it for
It
you.
will be Independence Day.
It'll be the 4th of July. It actually will be Independence Day.
It will be International Will Smith punching an alien in the face day. So we will.
It's the best day.
We'll do a Star Spangled Banner special. Should we talk about ManEater, Shaun?
Yeah, I am more than ready to talk ManEater. More than you I believe.
Yeah, I put about 7 hours into it in total.
Okay, my runtime, if I remember right, was 18, I think, when I got the credits rolling.
So, what did you think, Shaun?
I thought, personally, it was really good fun. It was just silly fun. Like, there wasn't much of a challenge.
I'll agree with that.
I think...
My mind changed the more I played it. So,
Oh?
I didn't enjoy the first 2 or 3 hours. I really enjoyed the first mission. Thought that was great fun. Didn't really enjoy the rest of it up until I got to the second zone of the swamp and became a teenage shark. And then I really, really enjoyed it.
So once you could bully most things.
Yeah. What a ridiculously fun
I was going to say,
game.
what was it specifically? It was the alligators, wasn't it? Once you're available, you
I hated those
eventually
fuckers.
able to kill those alligators. You're like, right, okay, I'm good to go. That's it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I got to level 9 where I could comfortably defeat a level 15 alligator with a little bit of difficulty sort of every now and again. But once you got to a point where nothing scared you or you wouldn't turn away from anything, man, I enjoyed this game. Really genuinely good fun.
It was weird
the
how-
only thing that I don't like about this game, and it's a little bit controversial, I didn't like Chris Parnell as the narrator.
So I can't believe it. I thought that would be your favourite part, because you love him.
I do. His voice started to annoy me after a while. I just didn't get on with having a narrator, and I don't know why, because he is brilliant. He's ridiculously funny, but it just felt a bit weird, is all I'd say. But other than that, oh, what a game.
I quite like the narrator, but there was a few times, if you spent too long in an area at once, you would sort of start hearing the same lines over and over.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it was weird though how the difficulty sort of, it not obviously not Dark Souls level, but the first area is kind of like that, where there is enemies you just don't go for, and you have to sort of pick your battles carefully, and then once you get to the second area, it's just devour everything for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Have fun
And
knocking people
that's
off
when
boats.
I really started to enjoy it. I loved it. I loved chasing people in canoes and just munching on them.
learning how
love
to
jumping
leap
onto
out.
the
Yes, exactly. Learning how to leap out the water at first. Woo!
If you get the evolution upgrades that you can breathe out of water for longer, you can literally go to like a golf course and just spend like a minute just flying through the air, munching on people trying to play golf.
Yeah, see, that's when my enjoyment dramatically went up. I remember the one level, it was in the swamp area, and you had to kill 10 humans and they were on this like pier area, and I remember trying to like jump up and chomp them, and they kept sort of like getting away, and I couldn't quite reach them, so I thought, I'm just going to flop along the pier and munch them all. And that was when it clicked with me that this game, you had to do stupid things. And the stupider the things that I did, the more fun I had, and the more fun I had, the more I wanted to play it. And yeah, it was a big turnaround for me. As soon as you get into that second area, it became a much more enjoyable sort of experience. Couldn't play it for too long though. 90 minutes was my maximum. I had to put it down after about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I had to take it in short bursts as well.
Yeah, it's quite a small gameplay loop. So if you play it for too long, you might get bored of it. But it was the perfect sort of pick up and play for like 60 to 90 minutes at a time sort of thing.
For me, it was the perfect game for quick resume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, once you get over that initial, like you mentioned, once you get over that initial grind at the beginning where everything can kill you and you just need to focus on eating as many little fish and turtles as you can, and then you've kind of grown up a bit and then you can defend yourself. Once you've got over that little hump, and you get into that second area and you can actually start doing damage, that's when the fun begins.
Yeah, and from that point on, I had nothing but fun with it. And anytime I died, I realised it was my own fault. Anytime I didn't quite do something, it wasn't anyone else's fault other than myself. I never felt like I was being cheated out of a win, because there isn't a win, there is just chomp things.
And blood.
And so when I sort of, when I cast aside the sort of notion that I had that there was a structure to the game and realised that you just swim around for about an hour and just eat everything that you can see, I had a spectacularly fun time in this game. So yeah, a big turnaround from me, Shaun.
There was one glitch that I kept running into though, when you have to fight the, like, I think it's 10 people, is it? List of like 10 sort of mini bosses. If you get your rank up enough. Every time I had one of them come after me, if it was like the first time in that play session they were coming after me, my camera would glitch inside me, so all I would see is the inside of shark mouth.
Really?
Yeah, and the only way to get rid of it was to die. And then
I never had that.
Once I'd gotten that done, it would be like fine if I went to the mini boss again. But I think it's a fairly common problem, because I had looked it up when it kept happening, and it's been like a problem since launch that just obviously haven't been patched yet.
Oh.
But it's weird. I'll go back on it and see if I can recreate it quickly to get a clip of it.
Yeah, I never ever had that problem. The only problem that I had was that I was just very shit at the game at the start.
Yeah, I was just tremendously shit at trying to jump.
Yes, and dodging. It took me far too long to realise I had to actually dodge the hunters and not just swim around and hope they didn't shoot me.
Because they're all bullseye.
I think
my absolute bullseyes. You need to go down the reeds.
Yeah, my problem is that I skip too much text because it annoys me to have it on the screen, so I miss really key things in games. So for the first 2 hours, I didn't realise you could dodge things. Like I just forgot, and so I played the first 2 hours dying constantly. I messaged you, didn't I, Shaun? Like, these fucking alligators.
Yeah,
because I didn't realise that I could dodge. So yeah, that was my own mistake.
I think the main thing I struggled with, I think I actually said to you for the first like 10-15 minutes of it, was moving the camera is how you like swim up or down, like higher or lower.
Yes.
And I kept trying to like move the camera to look around, and I'd just end up going to the surface and be like, oh, for fuck's sake, having to like dive back down again. But once I got used to it and like sort of got the muscle memory of it, it was perfectly fine. Although
I had a lot more fun than I thought I was going to have in it.
There was one bit, I think it's in the Shamu Stadium area. Did you find the Pennywise Easter egg?
No.
That shit me up, because I hate clowns, as I've said before. And it's when you go into one of those like tight sort of tunnels, and it leads to like a chest or something normally. I went through it, and then there was another grate leading to another tunnel, and when you swim up to it, it basically zooms into it, and there's just a clown behind it holding a red balloon.
I did not see that.
I think the Easter egg's actually called something like "We All Float Down Here."
Oh, no, I didn't realise that.
Creeped me the fuck out.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So,
but yeah, overall, massive amount of fun in this game. And for once, Shaun, it's a wildcard pick that I'm going to keep playing. I really enjoyed.
Hey, we finally both agree on a wildcard pick.
Yes. Well, actually, we agreed on Narita Boy that it was okay. But finally, a game that we agree is good.
That gets 2 absolute passes, plays, even, not passes.
Yes. Fingers crossed Yakuza Like a Dragon has the same experience.
I cannot wait to try this, just because I know I'm going to get a message an hour in about you raging about it.
No, you're not, because I'm looking forward to this one.
You were looking
I'm
forward to the
genuinely looking
first
forward-
one.
Yeah, I know, but shut up, Shaun, because that sort of ruins my point. So yeah, had a lot of fun. The only thing that I would say that really I didn't get on with was the narrator. And I didn't like the fact that there was 3 different energy currencies, was there?
Yes.
Was there 3
Yeah,
or 4?
I think it was.
think
Maybe
there
it's 4.
Yeah.
4.
That annoyed me a little bit because I never really knew what currency sort of would level up what abilities, and it just felt a little bit ambiguous. I think it would have been better just to have experience, and that's what you use to upgrade yourself. So I don't understand the decision of having 3 different types of energy. That didn't really make sense to me.
I think
but they're very small nitpicks.
I think weren't they tied to the type of evolution? So like bone armor was all a certain type to upgrade, and then the sort of electric armor was a different type.
I just think it makes it more difficult to do the same thing. Like it just didn't really make sense to me why they would have different types of upgrade currency. But again, very, very small niggle with a game that overall I thought was really good fun.
Yeah.
I would give it 7 chomps out of 9.
Okay.
What about you, Shaun? How many chomps? How many chomps would you give it?
I'd give it 8 chomps out of 9.
8 chomps.
Why
out
is
of
it
9.
out of 9?
That's good. I don't know, because out of 10's boring, isn't it? Everyone does out of 10. Let's see Metacritic fuck this one up, eh? Let's see how they work this one out. But yeah, overall, massive amount of fun.
Damn it.
I am looking forward to Yakuza. What?
There is 3 of us that played this game, by the way.
Yeah, I'll give it 5 chomps out of 7
5
Oh.
chomps out of 7. Oof, he's changing things up there.
These fractions.
fractions.
So, Shaun, are you sure you're going to stay with 8 chomps out of 9? You're not going to change it to like 6 out of 7.3? You're going to
7
keep it as is?
7 and 2/8.
Yes, 7 and 2/8 and a quarter. So overall, yeah, all really enjoyed it. All had a lot of fun with it. There was a few issues. The gameplay loop was a little bit repetitive. Just play it in short bursts, really. Does that sound fair, Shaun?
Yeah, it's pretty much if you've got a bigger game going, just play that in between it, sort of thing. Like you said, keep it on the quick resume list. It's literally perfect for that.
Yeah.
Because you're 60 hours into Final Fantasy now, aren't you, Shaun?
No, I'm about 50, but I have finished it now. Finished it today.
Which
Oh, you
Final
have?
Fantasy?
Yep.
Well, hey.
10.
Ah, right. Okay.
So Shaun had never played a turn-based Final Fantasy. He'd only ever played 15 and 7 Remake.
Right.
Yeah,
I made him
15
play
was
Final Fantasy 10.
15 was my first ever Final Fantasy.
So what do you make of 10 then?
And we
what do you make of 10?
Oh, I loved it. 10 out of 10.
Oh.
And
I'm gonna play 10-2 at some point, but I have heard it's nowhere near as good. But I'll still play it once.
I'll tell you a better one to play. You go back one of them to Final Fantasy 9.
yes.
Is that the one that's also on Game Pass? Or
Yes.
Is that 8?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
It's on
And
Game
it's
Pass.
story is so much better. 9 in my opinion is better than 7.
Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah, for me, 10 is my favourite ever Final Fantasy just because of the nostalgia. Then it's 9. Then it's 7. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy 9. Great game.
Really good. Really good. And like I say, the stories between the characters are really good as well. Vivi's story, the little mage, his story to me is the best part of that game.
So, Shaun,
I've got some
next week.
some long gaming hours ahead of me now. I've got to play
you do indeed.
Yakuza and Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, as well as 10 too.
As well as 10 too.
Woo.
And some more games that I'm sure we'll be playing in between.
Yeah.
So, all enjoyed ManEater. Lots of chomps out of 9, 7s, and 8.5s. Yakuza Like a Dragon next. Shaun, it's that time of the week to ruin everyone's day, isn't it?
Oh, it's my favourite time of the week, ruining people's days.
So, we made our guesses too easy, mate. We made them too easy last time.
I saw a certain 2 people got them straight away.
Within like a minute, which was really annoying. So my clue was that Canadian rapper's got nothing inside him, and that was Drake Hollow. And Shaun, what was your one?
Mine was I always feel so empty when the sun sets, and that was
And
Hollow
what was that?
Knight. Hollow Knight,
So yeah, both Hollow, both games on Game Pass, both quite good clues.
and both guessed instantly.
Your one's not so great this week, is it, Shaun?
No, mine's fucking terrible, I must admit.
So, Sean,
Absolutely dreadful.
What is your clue this week?
Mine is Matthew Mercer and George R.R. Martin are plotting sinister schemes together.
Okay, so just before we started recording, you told me that. You didn't tell me what the game was.
I didn't tell you what the game was, did I?
I was about to say something, and I stopped myself because I knew it was really dumb, but also I thought that you should hear it for the first time on the podcast.
Thinking about that content.
Yeah, all our lives revolve around content. So when you said Alex Mercer and George R.R. Martin,
Matthew Mercer,
I was going to say, is that the guy from Alan Wake?
Wow.
And then I realised, no, that's Alan Wake.
Harry.
Dear. So who's Matthew Mercer?
It would kind of give it away if I explained who he was. Although, if you want, I can just tell you what the game is and just bleep out like you done for yours.
Yeah,
the other
okay,
week.
Okay, bleep it out then. So what's the game?
Okay, so the game is. It's because
that is fucking shit. That is so shit. That is so shit.
They're scheming together, so it's...
Sean, that was fucking atrocious. That is so bad.
It's amazing.
Still
proud. Still proud.
We've got a guest here. You got to be better than that. Fucking hell. So my one is those avocados are punching each other again. Oh
dear.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think
Which
yours
isn't
is
much
better than mine this week.
It's a bit better, but
it's also
it's
a
not
great
high
game.
bar.
Yours.
Yeah, but Sean, you've not set a high bar, so. Emil Heskey with some honey on his TV was better than that guess.
No,
that clue,
the
mate.
Emil Heskey thing will never be beaten for the worst game in 60 seconds we've ever done.
Emil B, the show. Amazing. So now that we've done our game in 60 seconds, Sean, should we move on to sort of the most important bit of the show and actually talk about E3 Extended Showcase?
Yep.
So obviously the plan was, Dutch, wasn't it, to have you on the show, do the E3 special, but my internet didn't work. So we spent about an hour and a half just fanning about, trying to get it working, and it didn't. So it just worked out that Microsoft and Bethesda had so much stuff to cover during E3 that they basically made it a week-long presentation.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot more to talk about.
Yes, a lot more.
The only annoying thing is we don't have enough time to talk about all of it. So all of us have picked one thing that we're going to talk about for 5 or 10 minutes each. So, Dutch, we're going to let you start.
Awesome.
What was your highlight of the extended showcase?
And naturally, my highlight, when you see me and you see my profile, you'll understand. But it's my highlight is Hellblade: Senua's Saga, so Hellblade 2.
Oh yes.
What
yes.
a tasty little game that's looking out to be.
Now,
yes.
Dutch, one thing I just need to tell you about Hellblade.
Yes.
It's my favourite game of the previous generation.
And rightfully so.
Sean had never played it before, and I made him play it a few months ago wearing headphones.
The best way.
And Sean, you very much enjoyed it, didn't you?
Oh, I loved it. I was very nervous going into it because I'm the biggest wuss going. So as soon as you said you have to play it with headphones, I was like, here come jump scares
by
and
the
all
way,
that. But
there's a psychosis warning before you play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was kind of on edge a bit in the first hour or so, but no, I settled down quick. It was amazing and definitely worth playing with headphones instead of just through the speakers.
Yeah.
So we are 3 big Hellblade fans, but Dutch, I'm just going to let you take the floor and talk us through what you're excited about with Hellblade.
Yeah,
2.
definitely. Well, I've covered this actually in a video on, and a lot of the stuff that you've kind of seen snippets of in the newest trailer. I've actually covered before in a video, and it's not specifically just Hellblade that I'm excited for. The studio themselves are potentially one of the crown jewels in Microsoft's development arm. And from a technical standpoint, they are absolutely pushing boundaries that no other studio I've seen have done. From every angle, we're talking audio, video, mocap. We're talking the lengths that the entire animation crew have all took combat training to help with mocap, the mocap. All of them, I mean, this is only on the back of the fact that Melissa Juergens, of course, who suffers from mental health issues, as well as a debilitating kind of health issue herself, which restricts, and she's constantly in pain. It's called fibromyalgia. But she's went off and she's done MMA training with her partner, who is
She's
a pro
done
fighter.
2 years of it, hasn't she?
He's a pro fighter, so she's done training specifically with him to build up her combat techniques. She's went to the combat school in London for stunt actors to learn how to sword fight. So she's went to do that in order to get, again, sword fighting techniques up. This is off her own back as well, because she wanted to be, following the first game, she wanted to be more, essentially be able to do the job herself. She didn't want to rely on other stunt actors to do it. She wanted to be the focus of that. Again, the 3D audio in the first game was absolutely phenomenal, and they've even improved that since. Now, since being acquired by Microsoft, they've got a brand new studio built from scratch with a purpose-built mocap and 3D audio studio within that. So they've heavily invested in that, and that's not also then going into the fact that they're doing ultra, and I'm talking like ridiculously ultra realistic kind of graphics from top to bottom. And they have 3 projects in the work, of course, along with just Hellblade, and of course that's Project Mara, which is very much a psychological thriller, as well as Hellblade. And then you have another on the side. I keep forgetting the name of it though, but there is 3 projects in the works. But Hellblade, the scope that they're going to, I mean, going over to Iceland and sitting there and recording all the audio individually from different parts of Iceland, getting a film crew to go out and capture every inch of different parts of Iceland, and caves and waters and streams and mountainous regions and volcanoes and you name it. They're literally going to the ends of the earth to make it the most realistic and authentic kind of representation of Iceland for the game. So in terms of excitement, the reason I'm excited for that game isn't specifically because it's a follow-up. It's just the sheer effort that they're putting into the development to get this particular game right.
It's going to change how they develop games going forward,
100%.
isn't it?
It's just...
I mean, I've seen what they're doing with the costumes. They're individually scanning every single piece of costume. They're hand making every costume for the game and then scanning them into Unreal 5 with all of their techniques that they used in the previous game that have been expanded upon. This game is going to look stunning.
Oh, yeah.
And with it being made in Unreal 5, it's going to allow them to go to a level that I don't think many studios have ever gone to before.
Yeah, they're working specifically hand in hand with Epic as well for that. I mean, other studios have access to Unreal Engine 5, but it isn't just a case of having access for Ninja TV. They are literally working with Epic to get the best out of this engine.
Yeah, I'm nothing but excited about the project, and like you say, not just from a point of view that it's a sequel to a game that I loved on the previous generation, but it's the start of a journey for Ninja Theory to make themselves sort of a step above what they ever thought they could be.
100%.
I mean, I'm just very excited for the continuation of Senua's story, but I'm also utterly sort of on edge to see how this game looks and all of the techniques they've got brought together, what that's going to do. Yeah, I'm very excited as well.
It's insane. And like I say, it's you've got to think this team was literally 20 to 50 in size at most. Very, very much an independent studio. And the work they managed to do on 20 to 50 people in terms of 3D audio, mocap, and the story they told, winning countless awards, again, off their own back. It was just absolutely insane. So now, with the absolute full backing of Microsoft, with a brand new studio at the helm, they've more than tripled in developers in the studio now. They've got any amounts of technology they want to use in order to make their game the best it possibly can do. I literally see no boundaries for them. They can achieve what they want to achieve, and I think we'll see that with this game.
100%. Well, if that's not got people excited for Hellblade 2, I don't know what will.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shaun, do you want to discuss what you're excited about?
So, yeah, my pick was Psychonauts 2, and that was the main reason was because I'd never played Psychonauts before, and it's always one of those games that
baffles me. Can't believe that.
I don't get why, because literally platformers and stupid humour are my two like go-to things. So like literally my entire life I've been playing sort of childish platform. I still play childish platformers like Skylanders. I loved, and I've still got Skylanders. So yeah, I never got why I never got round to playing it, sort of thing. But I have finally started playing it this week, and I'm loving every minute of it. So I'm now my excitement has sort of reached new heights for Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
But,
Look, the only thing is, I don't think that you need to explain anything, because Tim Schafer sort of just told the entire story of the game in the showcase.
I was going to say he went into very like he went quite deep into what was going to happen in the game.
He was so excited about it. It was like watching a kid tell his favourite story. It was amazing.
I was sort of like halfway through it and thinking, do I carry on watching it? Because this seems quite spoilerish.
And then the end credits roll.
Yeah,
it's awesome, and I'm absolutely over the moon that Tim Schafer's a part of Xbox, because he's such a talented. Again, you've got to think like Psychonauts 2 was, if you have looked several years back, this is before again they were acquired by Microsoft. Like Psychonauts 2 wasn't in the best of shapes when it was being developed. It was a crowd-funded game, and then the sheer polish and how good that game looks now. It's so much better.
Yeah, I've seen some of the upgraded screenshots. They actually uploaded some today on Twitter. It looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
It keeps the aesthetic of the first game, but just expands on it. And yeah, I'm excited. Sean, tell me why you're excited.
well, because it is literally a silly platform. I'm glad they're coming back. There was I think it must have been about 5-6 years ago now. There was, when I was working for Dorknado, there was an article I wrote about how 3D platformers will make a comeback, mainly through the Crash Insane trilogy. And since then, we have had like Spyro Reignited trilogy, we've had Crash 4, and now we've got Super Lucky Tales, and we've got Psychonauts 2 now, which I think out of all of them is probably the one no one would have thought would be finished, if that makes sense. Because like you said, it was in a bit of a sorry state at some point, and the original Psychonauts, before it became like a sort of cult classic, didn't do that well on release. I think it was like 100,000 units they shifted before they became
well.
Yeah, before Double Fine had the like sole rights to it and obviously could distribute it digitally and then it picked up. So yeah, I think it's probably the 3D platformer of all the recent 3D platformers that was the least likely to happen, and now it's going to happen on Game Pass.
So how have you been finding Psychonauts then, Sean?
Oh, I'm loving it. It's it shows its age in some areas, like with some of the platforming and mainly the combat though, but it's just ridiculous fun. Like the humor is non-stop, and
Like,
the characters are so quirky.
Graphically, it doesn't look great. However, again, and I'll say this until I have to bang my head against a wall, that's why art styles and art direction mean so much more than graphics.
Yeah.
Because the art style of the game holds up massively. And although it's not the prettiest game to look at in terms of its raw graphical ability, it has a unique art style that works from top to bottom. So yeah, also very excited for Psychonauts 2.
And of course, let's not forget Jack Black does the soundtrack. What's not to love about that?
Yes, exactly. What can't you like about that? Now, I feel like my pick is a little bit ridiculous because you're all picking these amazing games that are coming out.
Well, my pick was originally your pick, and then you said about it, so I had to change mine.
Or I'm going to have to do a lot of editing there. So yeah, your pick originally was my pick. But
yeah.
I can't wait to get my first Design Labs controller, because it is ridiculously fun to just design controllers all day. But what I'm most excited about is I really, really, really hope that they expand it further than just controllers.
Yes.
I want them to have Design Lab Series S's. I want them to have Design Lab adaptive controllers. I want them to have Design Lab headsets, Design Lab controllers, Design Lab Elite 2s. I want anything that Xbox make that is peripheral or console to also have a Design Labs version. My favourite controller I've made is my SpongeBob 3. I really enjoyed making my SpongeBob controllers. The Patrick one especially I think is ridiculous. But I really, really hope they start bringing designs and patterns and shapes and objects onto the Design Lab so that over time it just grows into this absolute monstrosity creation tool where you can just make some of the most ridiculous things. I just absolutely love the time I've had so far in Design Labs, and I really hope it does nothing but go further. There's not much more I can say about Design Labs other than it's just great fun.
I've got to agree with you there. And one thing, even on a price front, and I can say this because as I mentioned at the beginning, I do custom controllers myself. If I was to try and do what they do in terms of a price point, I couldn't achieve it. The parts in terms of wholesale, and that's at wholesale cost. If I was to get the parts in to be able to create a controller for somebody, like to do what they do in terms of getting a specific trigger and also then a different bumper and then different buttons and then different guide button, then different D-pad, different sticks, a different shell, different grips, then a different back. If I was to do all of that in one, you're talking about £100 sterling. On there, you're talking £60, and if you want to, you can add an engraver in for an extra kind of £7 or something it is.
So actually, although it is, people look at it and think, oh, bloody hell, 60 quid for a controller. If you look at the sort of true cost of customization of controllers, it's expensive. It's really expensive. 100%. And so for them to do that at the price point that they do, they do it for what, £5 more than an official controller?
I think it's £50 for an official controller, just like black or white at the moment.
Depending on where you find them for the stock colours, I think it's about 60 for any other random assortment of colours. But on Design Labs, it's
so like the Volt Green, I think, is £55 currently, and so for an extra £5, you can just make it your own. You can make yourself a Shaun of the Dead special or a Patrick Star or a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I just think it's great. And I'm excited to see them expand on it further going forward. And I know that they will, because they want to give people accessibility, and Design Labs is nothing if not accessible to everybody. So very excited to see where that goes.
I might be remembering wrong, but didn't the original Design Labs eventually have like patterns as well as sort of block colour?
Correct.
And they done like special ones. So I know there was like one for NFL teams at one point and stuff like that. Yeah. So I imagine they'll get to it. It's just a case of sort of re-adding.
Oh, they've already said they're going to add more kind of over the months. Thankfully, I've had the opportunity to speak to the original person who came up with the idea for Design Labs, Gabby, who is now working for Microsoft devices, but also speaking to David Prien, who helped bring the Elite Series 2 into it as well. So we've asked him about it. We've asked him about trying to bring that to Design Labs. It's not a never say never, but it is a little bit more complex. So I would say don't rule it out.
And one of my big wants for Design Labs is to incorporate their accessories within it. And the more that they can get in there, the better for everybody.
100%.
And
I specifically agree with you on the adaptive controller more than anything else. I think specifically for those with disabilities to be able to have the same customizing options as somebody who doesn't have disabilities, I think should be before anything else, before looking into additionals for standard controllers. Get that sorted first.
That should be a priority. 100%. 100%. I'm really excited with the future of Xbox in terms of their accessibility. And I don't think the adaptive controller really gets the recognition that it should do. But I would love to see the adaptive controller on Design Labs. I think that would be just amazing to see it.
100%.
But that's our sort of overview of the extended showcase. Obviously, they showed more information on Hades, on Flight Simulator. They had the Sea of Thieves extended showcase. They talked through a lot of the games like Anacrusis as well, was on there.
Yeah, that was a surprise little announcement there, actually, that I was like, what is this game?
And it looks ridiculous.
Just silly fun.
It looks like Left 4 Dead in space.
Silly fun.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this is a nice surprise.
Procedural Left 4 Dead
Another one on Game Pass.
But if you've not already checked out the showcase or the extended showcase or the Sea of Thieves showcase, there's about 4 hours of glorious 4K content for you to dive into, and you will not be disappointed. And once you've done that, come and listen to this episode again.
Yeah, just re-listen. Just keep listening to this episode. I want to give a little... I want to give a little shout out as well, and this is something that's going to give myself, yourself, and any up-and-coming creator kind of an absolute buzz. If you haven't seen the extended showcase right now, the person presenting it is a content creator that started off just like myself, literally from nothing all the way up to now hosting an Xbox extended showcase at E3 is just absolutely. If that doesn't
Yeah,
give you inspiration to kind of to go on and want to get into something, or just the energy to think, someday it isn't going to be quick, but someday I can literally be partnered with Xbox on something as big as E3.
And I'll tell you what, Paris absolutely
Yeah, he
smashed
did.
it. He did such a great job.
I wouldn't be surprised if he hosted more things in the future. I saw on Twitter he's already said that obviously award season that's coming up, so he's free if need be.
Yeah. he was a natural at it, wasn't he?
Get Paris at the
He was an
Oscars.
absolute natural at it.
Yeah, he was so good. And you could tell his enthusiasm for being there. It was like he couldn't believe that he was there, but he also realised that he had this like duty of care to like ask people the right questions. It was just so good. So yeah, massive shout out to Paris. He is a great content creator. And maybe one day, who knows, maybe we'll be at E3 as well. Massively disappointing people there instead.
Yes.
that's the dream.
We'll all try and get to E3 next year and massively disappoint everybody with. I mean, first of all, probably everyone thinks I'm about 7 foot tall because I look like a Viking, but no, I'm quite a short arse. So
No, Dutch.
keep the dream alive.
Just don't tell people.
Okay, I'm 45 feet tall.
Don't worry.
I'm 45 foot tall. Son of Odin.
Actually a monster. Yeah, the doctors have actually said they don't know how his bones don't break from the sheer pressure on them, just because of how utterly monolithic he is.
So next year it'll be Harry will have like some sort of flu again on stage.
Yeah, I'll have like dengue fever.
Dutch will be on stilts to keep up the appearance, and the camera cuts him off from like the chest height. And then I'll be sat in a chair like shaking so much that the chair's just moving slowly off the edge of the stage.
And that will be the presentation. Well, I don't think there's many better places to leave it, is there, Shaun, than the image of us three just ruining E3 next year.
Me breaking my neck falling off the stage.
Yeah.
Followed by me break my neck off stilts.
On that, yeah. And me just with an infected neck.
It'll be like a domino thing, so Harry will like sneeze into me, which will push me further back, which will knock my sofa into Dutch's stilts.
And they'll just quickly like boo cut the show, and you'll just have like Paris just dancing on the stage like nothing to see here. Don't worry, guys. It'll be like the scene in in Naked Gun, where it's like there's nothing to see here. And there's a firework factory exploding in the background. Don't worry, guys. There's nothing to see, and Shaun will have like his head on backwards.
Oh dear me.
It always devolves into chaos, doesn't it, Shaun?
It's always the final 5 minutes.
I know, we get so close to the end and then we ruin it. So a massive thank you to everybody for listening to this show. And a huge thank you, Dutch, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We will have to come on your show again soon when I've not got a face that looks like something out of a plague
Like
tale.
the elephant man this week.
And when Shaun doesn't look like a deer in headlights for the first 20 minutes. So
I'm blaming Lucia still because she sent me a message. Like
I can see you.
Yeah,
You
it was a couple minutes into like the actual showcase started. So I was just looking at the screen, obviously watching the showcase as well. And she sent me a message, and I looked down at my watch, and it just said, "You look really nervous, by the way." And I was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!" So then for the next 2 minutes in my mind, I was like, "Don't look nervous. Don't look nervous."
Yeah, you did well. You did well.
Well, we'll definitely plan something. The only thing is, I know that if me and Shaun are on there and Chris is on there, we will just spend the entire time asking about Formula One on the PSP. Like that's just going to happen. So
I mean,
prepare him for
you're
us.
you're more than welcome. You'll be absolutely buzzing and more than happy to come on your show. So 100% drop him a message.
What was it like programming for the UHD?
You'd be more than happy to come on to the show. So yeah, drop him a message. 100%.
Well, there you go, Chris. You're locked in now.
I've already booked you.
Say.
We've got no choice.
Good luck getting out of that one, mate.
I just got a message on my watch from Lucia saying, "Talking about me, eh?"
Yes, we are.
Oh,
So
Not-
on that,
not that
because
creepy.
Shaun's about to get told off.
I'm about to
we
get
will
a
end it
black
here. Another one. That's what happened to me. Lucia punched me before we started recording. She knew we were going to talk about her. She gave me a wallop. So yeah, just a massive thank you to everybody for listening. Dutch, it's been great having you on, genuinely. I'm so glad that we could make it work this time. Listening to you talk about Hellblade sort of had the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. So just again, tell people where they can find you, tell people how to contact you, tell people what you're up to.
Definitely. No, it's been absolutely awesome, and thanks for getting this rearranged so we can actually get this done, because it's been a great laugh. It's been my pleasure, absolutely. But yeah, you can certainly find me again on Twitter at WanderingDutch, where I just again talk about all of your daily news or get into minor arguments with fanboys, which you can have a nice giggle at. Or again, post customized controllers, hand painted, airbrushed, etc., and consoles. And then, of course, over to the YouTube channel for the home of the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, which is usually every Wednesday between 7 p.m. BST, it's 2 p.m. EST. It's absolutely awesome. Again, occasionally, and we do give a heads up, but sometimes we do shift it depending on guests. So, of course, our last official guests prior to the E3 showcase, put my teeth back in there, was the Game On Daily crew. So that was awesome having them on as well. And we do have quite a lot of irons in the fires for more developers and again larger content creators to come back on the show.
And Shaun.
Yes, and yourselves. Definitely have to get both of yourselves on this time around, not just one of you.
Yeah,
both
my
of you.
face is just oozing at the moment, so I'll have to give it a miss just while I'm healing.
Most definitely.
Nobody wants to see my face right now. It's not a pretty sight.
You'll just come onto the show going, the bells,
Also.
the bells.
You guys are mean.
So, I'm picturing someone as the jester now as well, with the little puppets explaining it.
You're horrible.
Dear me.
Fuck it. I'm ending the show.
I'm playing Topsy Turvy the next time we do this next episode.
No, Shaun, shut up. I'm ending the show now. Shut up. Stop being horrible. So yeah, huge, massive thank you, Dutch. It's been great having you on. Everybody go and check him out. Seriously, he's so much better than we are. Like, he just is. So go and subscribe to him. Go and follow him. You will not be sorry. Just in the meantime, we will have Duncan back next week. One of the other things just to say is that we were nominated for the Quite the Thing Media Podcast Award, the Gaming and Technology Award. Now, the voting has ended, but there is a live presentation that's going to be happening on the 31st of July. To get free tickets to that, it will be an online stream, but to get free tickets to that, go onto the Quite the Thing Media Twitter page. On there is a link to their site, and you can get your free tickets to watch us win an award, because we're definitely going to win, aren't we, Shaun?
Oh, 100%. And it's an actual
we
award.
have to. We actually have to win it. We said for months we're going to win it. So if we don't end up winning this fucking award, Shaun, I'm going to go spare.
It would be pretty embarrassing, that's for sure.
So thank you to everybody that did vote for us if you did. Fingers crossed we got enough. We'll find out, I guess, on July 31st. Until then, do follow us on Twitter, follow us on all the social medias, but Twitter is the only one we care about, so follow us on Twitter. Do share this podcast with a friend, and be sure to share Dutch's stuff with a friend as well. And until then, keep on listening.
And keep on gaming.
Ooh, and we're done. Right, I'm going to go and vomit phlegm.